Today, I want to tell you a short story about a complicated chemical problem. Right before COVID, we started collaborating with a professor that was an expert in natural dipeptidic solvents. Exactly. In fact, we did not know either what these things were. But long story short, dipeptidic solvents or natural dipeptidic solvents are just mixtures of natural molecules that when they come together, they magically form a liquid. And this liquid is very cool because it can be used to replace traditional organic solvents that are very toxic. Well, in reality, there's no magic in chemistry. These are just thermodynamic oddities. And just like any other oddity, one of the difficult parts is to predict them. These ones are particularly difficult because there are millions of compounds that you can choose from. And not only you need to pick the right molecules, but you also need to pick the right ratios. So at that time, I was almost certain that no human will ever be able to pick the right combinations to make these dipeptidic solvents. But you already know where the story is going to, so I have to tell you that besides human, we also have robots. And just to warn you, when I grew up, this was a cool robot. And to me, just like many of your parents, I thought robots were only cute plastic toys or science fiction characters. Nothing that could ever help us in the lab. But we quickly learned that by that time, there was a number of people much smarter than us that have been spending a lot of time trying to teach computers to interact with humans. And by then, in 2020, this thing called Smarter Child was already 19 years old. If you missed it, I have to tell you that this was just a cute window that was able to interact with humans. Curious humans. Behind it, there was an incipient natural language processing model that was able to provide customers very limited answers regarding weather, flights, or news. And sort of the field went dormant for a number of years until 2017 when transformers got invented. The cool part about transformers is that they can analyze a huge amount of text. And the best part is that they can also break this text and assign different weights to it. So now the computer can start inferring not only meaning, by context. If you don't know about it, that is the engine behind ChatGPT. ChatGPT was released in 2022, and if you don't know how it works, it's only a bunch of equations that can connect inputs with outputs. As inputs, ChatGPT used to read books, articles, and pretty much everything that it was able to find on the internet. Then it figured out patterns, for example, in that language. So, for example, it can provide you an output that is the best word or the most suitable word that is coming next in your next text. For us, the cool part about ChatGPT is that it was also trained by humans. And this took an enormous amount of energy. So much that if you put that energy in your car, you could drive it to the moon and back multiple times. The second cool part about ChatGPT is that it included a reinforcing mechanism that was managed by humans. So this team of experts started to retrain the machine and telling it what were good answers for a human. So let me go back to the lab and tell you why this was relevant to us. In order for us to use natural language processing models, we needed to convert our molecules to words. And for that, there is a thing called Smiles notation that follows the atoms in a molecule and makes a word. And now a chemical reaction can be simply represented with the sentence. So now you start how we start killing the magic in the chemistry. And in fact, in the first project that we had on this topic, we trained this natural language processing model first with a whole bunch of organic chemical reactions, sort of an equivalence of you taking General Chemistry 1, where you can get some basic knowledge, but you cannot really predict anything meaningful. So after that, we promote this algorithm to advanced organic chemistry. So now we train the algorithm in a system that we are interested in. In order for the algorithm to pick these little details on the molecules, we also provided 1 million examples of mixtures that do not form deep eutectic solvents. In the second project we dealt with, we transferred this knowledge to a second problem, food antioxidants, that, not surprisingly, these interactions are very similar to the ones that we found in this. In this case, we only needed 200 examples for the algorithm to make predictions correctly. In the latest project that we had, we not only dropped the natural language processing for a more advanced model so we can provide more information to the algorithm, but also found out that this new algorithm can learn much quicker and do transfer learning. So the things that the algorithm learned with one system can be applied to another one. In this case, it only required 40 examples to get the information right. So you may be wondering, why is this relevant? Well, because my old robot is not scary. However, we are now witnessing how AI and robots are interacting with all of us every day, helping us text our friends, retouching our pictures, driving cars, and learning at a pace that no human will ever be able to match. This is an issue that is not everybody is happy with. In fact, Americans are more concerned than excited about AI. And this is also important because AI is driving a wedge across educational levels, diversity, income, and politics. And now, the latest version of ChatGPT is also able to learn from images, sounds, and everything that the previous models have published on the internet. So are we heading to a world where robots are going to kill all of us? Or where robots are going to save us from extinction? Well, probably neither one of those extremes. As of today, even the most advanced AI models use fairly simple algorithms based on data inputs to make fairly simple outputs as predictions that are reasonable, but they are often biased and sometimes not correct. On the contrary, humans have creativity and the capacity to consider experiences, emotions, and imagination. Our hearts and brains are still much better at asking those questions that the machines can never do. Just like any other tool, AI, as it evolves, it may eventually take over some of the most routine jobs. However, those tasks that require social or emotional components are probably a lot less susceptible to automation. So I challenge you to continue cultivating and enjoying our human traits, because really those are the best weapons we have to fight against the rise of the killer machines. Thank you.